Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses Initiative in Chicago. And what we do is we train leaders for second stage businesses to grow and prosper in their community and in their local economy. And we hope that by interacting with us through our educational program and our mentorship and advising component, that businesses can grow beyond what they originally had even planned to do and really make an impact on the community. Prior to joining 10,000 Small Businesses, I was a middle market and commercial real estate lender, and I worked nationally across several U.S. markets. And I feel that my passion really is working with first and second stage entrepreneurs to help them grow and prosper, as it is to work in workforce training and development. So again, I'm very happy to be here with you today, and I look forward to a successful webinar.
Thank you, Joanne. We are happy that you are joining us. Hello, Meg. Will you please say hello and tell us a little bit about what the WBCD does?
Yes. I'm Meg Herman. I'm Director of Entrepreneurial Services here at the Women's Business Development Center in Chicago. And we are here to help women start and develop and enrich their journey throughout their experience as business owners. So we do lots of different things, and I'm going to talk about those later. I am a professional business coach, trained in the coaching traditions, and I have worked here for almost 5 years. And before that, I had my own independent practice working with small and medium-sized businesses, coaching the executives regarding business strategy and development, amongst a billion other things, but that's what's relevant for today.
Well, thank
and I'm
you
very happy
much.
to be here. Thank you for inviting me to share WBDC services and information.
Thank you so much, Meg. We are excited about today's webinar. So let us jump right in, and we will begin with Joanne, who will give us an introduction into startup business planning.
Well, thank you very much. Today I'd like to start out by just giving you a little bit of background on women entrepreneurs in the United States. And basically, women business owners are a major force in the U.S. economy. As you can see by the numbers that I have on here, they're very impressive. So if you decide to start your own business, you'll join a very impressive group of women who really make an impact on the nation's economy. Women-owned businesses generate revenues of $1.2 trillion per year and employ 7.7 million people. So given these numbers, it's really likely that you know someone that's employed by a woman-owned business. Another impressive set of statistics is about women-owned businesses is that these businesses employ more than 40% more than the 3 largest U.S. employers in the United States combined, and that number keeps getting bigger. You can see that the 7.7 million employment is a 9% increase over the past 15 years. So again, this just all comes to the fact that women are really making an impact on the U.S. economy, and that we're always looking for ways to make women a more important cog, even though they very much are already. So I'd like to speak really about first steps in trying to get some ideas about what you want to do if you're starting a business. The next slide that you see on your screen, it just gives you an idea of the industries where women are really making an impact in the U.S. economy. Most of the women business owners, just by a small amount, are actually working in service industries and that are not public administration. The next largest set is healthcare and social assistance. And you can see on the left side of the slide that there are the top 5 areas, and most of these are related to service or trade, although IT and professional services are really coming up strong. Also, women are employed and in starting businesses and operating businesses in every U.S. state. But the highest concentration of businesses that are started by women are in the largest metropolitan areas of Chicago, LA, and New York. So women are making an impact, again, in many areas of the economy and are a very important driving force in the way that the business and the entrepreneurial mind is developing in the United States. Going forward, when you're starting to think about opening a business for yourself, I think that a lot of people have sometimes, they don't really know where to start. They don't know really what they should do. And so I think that when you're considering what you want to do, there are a lot of questions perhaps that you could start asking yourself. So you need to start looking at what you can do best. What are you passionate about? What types of activities inspire you? Not only in your daily life, but when you go to a store, what are things that you're drawn to? What type of activities do you like, even involving your children or in the things that you do in the course of a daily and also, I think most importantly, as you examine all these activities, look at what problem is what I am passionate about solving. So it's important to mesh those two things together because really the process of business means that you're making money for yourself or for your group that results from providing something for one of your customers. And it's trying to find the fit between what you really do well and what your potential clients are looking for. Sometimes that's easier but said than done, but you kind of really need to dig deep into yourself and see what do you want to be committed to and also make sure that there's a fit for that in the market. Let's move on to talking about just some generalities about creating a business plan. Many people ask us, do you really need a business plan? And the answer is a huge yes. The business plan really takes the guesswork out of your day-to-day work. If you take the time and you write a good business plan, it serves as a playbook and keeps you on track as you progress through your growth steps. For example, if you want to get certified as a woman-owned business, put that in your plan and start taking the steps to accomplish that goal. The business plan also helps those around you understand what you want to accomplish with the business. We also get asked quite frequently, how do I write the business plan? I think short answer is you just kind of start writing. Think about the basics of your business, start taking notes, think about how other businesses that you know started up and what they did to keep going. I think importantly, remember that every business started small, even somebody like Apple Computers. They started in the garage with 2 people. And that's how every business starts. So just starting to commit some of what you want to do on paper and into a plan will help you stay focused and actually provide you with the working steps that you need to keep going and to stay on task. Read the history of a big business or a big company and see how they started because it will give you ideas. And when you think that you're ready to go on your plan, then start asking yourself the following questions. What will I produce and sell? What am I qualified to provide this product or service to whom? If you want to open a restaurant and you have training as a chef, that's something that you need to put out there, and that gives you the credentials that will make other people trust you and want to come work for you or buy your products or services. So it's important that you try and align what you really do well with your qualifications for doing it. Or if you're not going to be the lead person, then you'll be able to hire people to do that. Next, you're going to talk about who your potential clients and customers are and how will your product or service fill the need for your ideal customer. Just a short example, using the restaurant example, if I want to open a restaurant and it's going to be the same as 20 other restaurants in my neighborhood, maybe I should start thinking about which type of restaurant will fill a need that people want in the community, but is not necessarily there. You can still use your cooking credentials and your chef credentials to do this, but it's going to take a little bit different tactic to try and align with what your customers want. Next, you're going to start thinking about how much will it cost to deliver my product to the market, and how much will I charge? And can I make a profit doing this? Because in the end, profit is what will keep you going and what will give you the incentive and the resources to grow into a much bigger business. So it's important that you realize not only the costs of delivering the product, but the cost to pay yourself and to pay your staff a wage so that these companies, these individuals can grow with you, and you have a comprehensive, lean company that can go forward into the future. And finally, you should think about how you're going to sell and market your product to the clients that you want to reach and how large your market is. Again, using the restaurant example, maybe you want to have a restaurant location in your community and maybe touch the 4 other communities that are nearby. That doesn't require a national marketing plan. If you want to sell something to the federal government, that's a different story altogether. But all of those things really need to be considered as you're going forward and trying to decide the resources that you need, the money that you need, and really the marketing and the sales activities that you're going to need. Finally, you should use your business plan to communicate your vision for the company. And your vision is very important because it really does tell people about your strategy and your priorities. So you want to share with your spouse, with your business partners, with your stakeholders to build momentum for the future success of your business, because the more people that you have around you that are supporting you, that are looking for opportunities for you, that can tell you, hey, Joanne, I just saw that this person is giving a class in business writing in the community. Perhaps that will help you. The more people know about your business, the more that they can help you accomplish what your goals are and to spread your vision. So thank you very much. This was just a brief overview on business plan and some ideas for innovation. So I wanted to remind everyone, as your business grows and you begin to hire employees and you grow your annual revenues to $150,000 or more, our program, the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses Program, would really love to connect with you and talk to you about considering our leadership training program in Chicago. And it's 10,000 Small Businesses, and here's our URL. And again, I thank you so much for allowing me to give this brief presentation.
Are there any questions?
Thank you very much, Joanne, for giving us that brief presentation. We really appreciate it. We have a few questions that we're going to answer. One was, where can participants find an example of a good business plan? Meg answered that for us. You can go to morebiz, morebiz.com, or illinois.gov/smallbiz. BIZ. And we had a question about mission statements, but we're going to go ahead and let Meg take over now because she has a lot of information on how to go ahead and start your mission statements, and as resources for the Women's Business Development Center, they can help you further along with their resources at their organization. Meg?
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So the mission statement we're going to talk about in the next part of the presentation. Were there any other questions you were going to take right now, Jatonia, or shall we
no.
move on?
Yes.
Okay. So if you want to put this on. That's me. So welcome to the Women's Business Development Center. We've been here for 26 years, and our goal is to help women develop their business and to advocate for women's business at systems levels of the government so that more doors are open for women overall. Next. sorry, so what we're really here to do is to help provide programs and support to help women grow their businesses over time, from if you just have an idea and you want to check out the feasibility, to you've been in business for a while and you've done the ready, fire, aim thing, and now you know that you don't know how to work on a business, and we can help you learn to do that, to government contracting and certification. When we think of the main things that we do, when we think of access to markets, we help you figure out who will buy this and how do you get to them. And in terms of access to capital, who will fund your business, including you, and first and foremost you, but also other entities and other people. What will you need to learn in order to do well in business? Business acumen is really a body of knowledge and skills that anyone can learn. And if you do, you tend to do better and stay in business longer. And if you don't, well, there you go. We've already talked about advocacy in terms of who will have your back, both systematically and resource-wise. And then, of course, building your skills of ownership is one of the things we really excel at doing. So we try to help you be as successful and smart as you can. And we've already talked a little bit about advocacy, so I won't spend a lot of time on this slide, but we also help create public policy and systems change. It's true, as Joanne said, that many, many small businesses are run by women now. In fact, more women than men are representing small businesses as we speak. And that changed from about 10% about 20-some years ago to over 50% now. So yay us. Next. So the services we provide here at the Women's Business Development Program, I'm going to talk about our services briefly a little bit, and then I'm going to actually walk through what are some things that you need to be doing to work on your business. So again, I want to remind you that we're for both startup and established business, startups, emerging, and established businesses through workshops, webinars, and online on-demand learning opportunities. Group counseling, primarily for business plan development, but sometimes for other more established business topics, and you can find some of those topics on our website under events. Of course, the individual business counseling and coaching is something we're really well known for. We have about 9 counselors here to serve you. We help you learn about access to capital and microloans. And also we have just this year become a micro-lending institution, so we actually lend money to primarily women-owned small businesses. And a microloan means somewhere between $500 to $25,000, depending on the need and the amount of risk involved in that particular lending transaction. We also certify women businesses as women business enterprises. That's what WBE stands for. And what that means is a certification that is valued by large corporations when they want to put set-asides and want to have women only vetting or applying for contracts. So that's a wonderful program that we offer. It's also available on our website to learn more about and just download. This is a national certification that is valued by over 700 large corporations and their prime contractors and subcontractors. So if you know that your target market is in those arenas of private corporate enterprise, that may be something you want to look into. And then we also offer government entity information. Like if you want to work with any level of the government, we have 3 people that specialize in learning about government contracting, and we have workshops on whether it's right for you. We have special workshops on capability statements, you know, learning how to navigate more the government entities and so on. And then also this year, we have received a grant to help women vets who are entrepreneurs or are thinking about becoming entrepreneurs. So if that's a category for you, know that we are now a resource for that. Okay, so let's talk a little bit now that you know kind of the kinds of things that we do, both in English and Spanish. Let me talk a little bit about the idea of the business. If you view the business seed as a stool, and a stool has to have at least 3 legs to be solid. So, and those 3 legs for the business seed are your product or service, the market that you're going to sell to, and the money that needs to be involved regarding the business. So you need to have a clear understanding of how your product or service meets a need, or fills a gap, or solves a problem. Or, like many social apps, for phones, you know, it may solve a need that we didn't even know that we had, but people are experiencing. Also, it must have enough uniqueness to make others change from buying to doing whatever they're doing now to buying from you, and enough of them to do that. And then the third piece is that a money-smart owner knows how to read and prepare financial forecasts based on the market, and also knows how to manage the money. So as we think about the business, those are the things you want to think about. So now you see before you a statement about the mission or purpose, and this is really where you need to start. You need to think about what is the purpose of your business, and so think about, and you know, we'll give you enough time to jot this down, although you'll get it in the future. You'll get the PowerPoint later. Think about building on the statement. We provide X service or product for X target market through what we do, because, and then talk about why it meets the needs of your client, solves the problem, or fills the gap. So if we use an example of cupcakes. So if I made cupcakes, I would say something like, we provide cupcakes as a dessert to parties. So parties becomes the target market, people who have parties, through catering and an online store, because people want to have quality desserts when they entertain. So that's a simple example of starting with what you really want to do, and who you want to do it with, and what you really want to do. So that gives you an example of building on that statement. So as we get started, you'll be thinking about your purpose and vision, your product or service, and the client that, or the customers that you think that you're going to have, and the industry. You're also going to be thinking about not only how much money will it take to run this business, but how much money will I need. As Joanne talked about earlier, you know, like how do I determine what the profit margin is that I need in order to consider this business successful? So, and I put our website here to remind you that there are many, many resources on our website to help you with this. So let's look at our next slide. You also need to think about, what's the level of business that I want to be in? Do I want to do this alongside with my other work? Do I want to make a living from this business in terms of having it be a lifestyle business and pretty much do the business myself? And this is particularly true for a number of people that do consultants. They may want to just be them, like if you were an architect, or if you were a business management consultant, you know, or a health coach. Maybe you'll just want to be you and make enough money to live the life that you want to live. However, if you want to be bigger than that, you might be a growth business, which means either it's you and other people, and or you and other sites. So, you know, how many places do you want to do business? How, you know, do you want to have multiple sites that people will go to take advantage of your services or products? So you have to think about, you know, how much of this do I really want to do? And any of these are okay, as long as they're an informed decision that you make. Next. So let's talk a little bit about, how do I find clients? This is, knowing your market is essential to having a successful business. So you have to identify, who are the best fit clients that I have, Where do they look for the services that I might be offering or the product, and how will I reach them? Next. What you need to know is these kinds of things. So if you look at the first question, you have to remember that not everybody is going to want what you want. But if you think that they do, then you have more work to do. So first of all, we look at the industry. What's the industry that you're about to go into or that you're in and or want to develop? And who buys this kind of thing now? So your industry level information will help you learn about that. And we have a workshop called Jumpstart Your Business, Identifying the Market Viability of Your Workshop that gets at these things in more detail. So it's something you may want to consider looking at, taking to get this kind of more information about this. Secondly, what do we know about their demographics and lifestyle preferences, and how can you find out if you don't know? Well, a university or a good public library with a good business section will really help you with that. And then you have to find out about the competition, and if you say, oh, there's no competition, then what that tells me is you just don't know yet who is your competition. So you need to find out who meets the same need or solves a similar problem, but in a different way. And then how will you be different from them, either in what or how they offer it? Next. So now we're going to look at, okay, once you identify the market, then you have a much more targeted group to reach. So that everything that you've identified so far, the purpose and vision of your business, then the client information and your industry will inform what should be on your website. And then you're going to have to think about, well, how do people get to your website? Because like just putting a website is kind of like having a party and having nobody come. So what you want to do is go where their eyes are. So you want to think about where would people be looking, and where would you, and think blogging. How would people get to, how do you get to different websites? Well, you Google, right? So what are the keywords that you want to show up on your website so that when they Google those words, you show up? But also, people are blogging these days, and so are you reading blogs? And if you're reading blogs, that people are going to that are like yours, what are those? Where are those? So that's where you need to show up. Also, building relationships. All businesses are based on building relationships. So you can't network in every single networking organization that there are. I know in Chicagoland there are a gazillion networking opportunities, and you can't get to all of them. So you have to be very targeted into where are your target market people most likely to show up, and invest in those networks for the best efficiency of your time. Next. So you also have to learn who will be your best client so you can decide what kind of other, in addition to your website and networking, what other marketing strategies and collateral do you need to develop? Well, okay, let me define my term. So what's collateral? Well, collateral is the leave behind material like business cards or capacity statements, flyers, but it also includes signage. And what strategies? Well, strategies are the messages you put on your website, the timing and the targets you want to reach, the ways you're going to reach them, and getting the best value for your efforts in marketing. So when we talk about collateral and strategies, you have to, again, prioritize your time and your money into what's most likely going to be the best strategies for starting any business. Okay, so let's look at the next one. So there's like 3 big buckets of things that we talked about in terms of the sturdy stool that I showed you, the business seat. So we talked about your product or service, the marketing, and the money. So you must learn to manage the money. For women, one of the issues is, oh, I was never good at math. Oh, I'm not good at sales. You just have to get over that, because It's about authenticity. It's about building your skills with managing money, and we can help you do this. Our job at the Women's Business Development Center is not to turn people into accountants or CPAs. Our job is to help you get literate with understanding how your business money flows and how you project cash flows and sales. And you have to learn to understand your business story in monetary terms. So you can plan more effectively, and you can make sales projections, and you can make cost projections. And you need to be able to have intelligent discussions with your accountant and understand what a business cash flow form is, a balance sheet, a profit and loss sheet. So, those are the things we want you to learn about finances to help you feel more confident in running a business. So we can help you with that. And one of the things that I suggest that you look at is this particular link on our website, which is to look at the financial statements and the cash flows. And again, we have workshops on this in our Jumpstart series coming up in June. And we do have a business plan workshop scheduled for tomorrow night. So if you want to jump into the business plan thing, the business plan is really the place where you capture all your thinking. So it usually goes at the end of the developmental things that I've talked about today. But for those of you who really feel like, I really want to learn about how to do a business plan, there is a workshop tomorrow night here at WBDC that could help you. And with that, I think I'm ready for us to talk about the questions that you have. Thank you for letting me talk to you a little bit about what's involved in getting smart on your business.
Thank you so much, Meg. We really appreciate it. Our first question is, are the services at the WBDC free?
Well, since some of our funds are tax funded, the answer is indeedy. Some of them are free. So what is free is our individual and group counseling. And that's always free. So whether you come once or a dozen times, it's always going to be free. There are a small fee for workshops, and we also have conferences, and there's fees for them. Our webinars right now are all free as well. So if you're looking at some training tidbits that you want to get from us as webinars, those are free as well.
Okay, so we have free webinars, we have free individual counseling, and small fees for workshops. Are there other WBDC offices in other parts of Illinois besides Chicago?
That's a great question. We are the women's business, the only women's business development center in the state of Illinois, but there are 114 of them around the U.S. There are other small business development centers throughout the state of Illinois, though, and in all of those places, the counseling is free and the workshops have a no or a small fee.
Okay, we'll have another question. So what are the top 3 things that women need to know about getting started with their actual business plan? Will you answer that for us, Joanne?
Sure, I'd be happy to. The top 3 things, I think, what product or service you're going to sell or advertise for sale, how you're going to market that product or service, and how you're going to reach your customer.
Thank you so much. So we'll continue with the questions. Meg mentioned that networking is a great opportunity to help startup businesses. How important is mentorship? Should you find a mentor to help you with your business plan or to help you with your marketing?
Yes, I think mentoring is very important, and one of the things, because we get that question a lot, I look for a mentoring program that could help women in our service area develop more effectively. And so we are participating in the mentoring program through micromentor.org, which is an online mentoring program that matches people through their site. You can get to our site. I may have to send you the link, but here's where the link is on our site. It's under Established Businesses, under How to Grow Your Business, and in the text of it, you will see some information about mentoring and a hot link, and that's where you can go directly to register to be in that program. The way that works, it's free. And I have to admit people, and the only people that I don't admit into that affiliate program of ours is if they're outside of our 9-state WBE service area. So, but it's a nationwide program, and you can join the program. Micromentor.org is the website. If you are outside of the 9-state area, Midwest area that we serve for Women Business Enterprise, please don't ask me to list them all, because I don't know if I'll remember them. But you can join directly, and you can with micromentor.org, and you can look for the affiliate page of the Women's Business Development Center if you wanted to join ours directly.
Thank you.
I also do, about every couple months, I do a workshop on expectations in mentoring that help whether you're going to be a mentor or a mentee. So that's a webinar you can look for periodically. I don't have it scheduled now, but maybe in July.
This is Joanne. I just wanted to add a couple words about mentoring. I think that it's really important for people that are reaching out to a mentor to realize that mentors are there to help you. And so their focus and your focus should be getting the help that you need from them. It's not a relationship, a traditional relationship where you're going to be doing something for them and then they'll do something for you, like a management position. It is truly a position where the mentor has the experience and the connections to be able to work with you and perhaps leverage some of their expertise to look for opportunities for you to make your business grow. So looking for a mentor in the networks and through the WBDC is great because you know that those mentors have been vetted, but you also might want to reach out to mentors in associations that you belong to. Say, for example, you're in training and development industry. You might want to contact that association and ask if they have mentors in the Chicago area or in Springfield or whatever, and see if there are mentors that will work with you that will allow you to come to their business and to see how their setup is and to take advantage of their expertise. People are very open to that. Once they've reached a certain point in their career, and it comes a time to give back, I guess. And so that's the value of mentorship, is just being able to leverage those connections on a networking basis.
Thank you, Joanne. We have another question. Do you have a piece of advice for nonprofit organizations regarding funding and or marketing?
This is Meg. Are you asking me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. We recommend a couple places for people that are looking to develop their ideas on non-for-profit. You should look at donorsforum.org. They are a premier resource for all things nonprofit, including workshops that pertain to the skills that you need to run a nonprofit. There is also the Axelson Center, which is located near or as a part of North Park University on the north side of Chicago. And those are two good resources for beginning to learn about nonprofits. If you are a new nonprofit, funding will be very difficult to get, except for maybe some places for seed money. But you have to research organizations that would be interested in funding an organization like yours. Either they have similar values and projects that they like to fund in order to get it. But many organizations are struggling. The recession has hit not-for-profits as well, so there are fewer dollars to go around in the nonprofit sector, and so many places are funded. Many traditional organizations or existing organizations are experiencing funding difficulties, so they're collaborating together and doing projects together. And I would think if you're starting a new thing, you should look for collaborative partners that you can go in together to serve the needs that you hope to serve.
Thank you so much, Meg. We just need clarification on the website for through North Park University, the one you just mentioned.
The Axelson Center.
Axelson Center.
Yeah, the Axelson Center.
Thank you so much. We have another question from Nani. Is there a fund to help startup businesses? Would you recommend for her to possibly go to the Women's Business Owner Symposium? Won't there be a lot of resources there? Or would you, Joanne, or Meg know of any specific ones today?
I guess I would need to know more information in terms of startup. Is that to invest in the company, or generally speaking, on a startup basis, there are not a lot of funding options available. You need to have a product or a service in place before traditional financing is available. However, Meg would be qualified to answer the micro-lending function because that is a little bit different parameters for lending, and the amounts are smaller, but it does provide you with some access to capital for starting up. And there are also a couple other organizations in Chicago that are micro lenders that might be willing to work with a startup, so long as there's a strong business plan in place and that it's not a very long time between conceptualization and actually going to market. So I'll pass that over to Meg as well.
I think you've said it really well, Joanne. There's really not money other than the micro loans. The micro loans take more risk than traditional banks do, and so the price point for borrowing that money will be higher. Like if banks are currently lending at, I don't know what they are, 8% maybe, then microloans would be at 10 to 16% because they're taking a higher level of risk. Having said that, I will reiterate what Joanne said. You must have a viable business plan. So you have to go through the effort of really thinking through working on the business for your particular product or service, looking at the market, proving that there's a market, proving that you can capture some of the market before anybody will, and then translating that into financial information so that a lender can see whether you're really serious about this and if you've really dug into your concept as a business enough for them to take a risk on you.
Thank you so much. How important is your credit when looking to start a small business? Will you answer that for us, Meg?
Sure. Credit is one factor. It is important that you try to improve your credit because if you're going to need to borrow money in the future for the business, your credit rating indicates how you've paid bills in the past. So if you've not paid bills well, then that's a problem. Many people find that their credit has been hurt during this recession. So this is not an unusual situation. Oftentimes it's because people have been out of work that they have not been able to catch up to their expenses. And another major reason is a major medical something happens. And so for whatever reason that your credit is not good, there are credit building programs around the country, and you should look to one of those to help you build your personal credit. The one closest to us here in Chicago is at the Duman Vocational Center, which is also a small business development center, and it's located within the Jewish Vocational Services on the other side of the loop in Chicago. They have a program and a counselor that is called Credit Builders Program, and that's for repairing your personal credit. And I would suggest that wherever you are on that journey, you get going on repairing that credit like now, because that is showing your good faith in learning how to manage your funds more effectively. And in the personal credit builder program, which is there's at least 20 places in the Chicagoland area alone that have this credit builder program. So look for a place near you. I think there's one in the Southside Credit Union, for example. These are bona fide programs that if you can put up $300, and in some of these programs they have a matching fund where they will put up some of that money for you. You put that away for a year. They give you a credit card that you use to develop good credit so that you're building your credit score back up. And so you've got that already working for you. So if that is an issue for you, go ahead and get that working for you.
Thank you, Meg. What about grants? Are there grants for startup businesses, Joanne?
There are not too many of them, to be quite honest with you. The grants that used to be there through the government have pretty much gone away during the past couple of years. That's not to say that there's not occasional monies available, but it's a very competitive process. I think that the largest likelihood of obtaining any type of grant funding is to be aware of which corporations are still offering. For example, Walmart used to have a program, and they still do, although they've cut it back quite a bit, for certain type of startup locations or not-for-profits for community development. I'm not sure, as I said, as to what the status of is it now, but many of the larger corporations used to have that type of an arm where they would invest in small businesses and not-for-profits in the community, although that has been severely contracted over the past couple of years.
Thank you very much. Meg, does the WBDC help women start not-for-profits and 501c3 status?
We generally don't, because we are here to drive the economy through developing women's businesses. So our mission pretty much outside of our mission.
Okay. Or Joanne, would you happen to know where one can get help with the non-for-profits?
Well, I know that there are a lot of national organizations that work with not-for-profits, and I think really the best thing to do is to find out which area you're looking to start a not-for-profit in. Really the business channel is what matters, and so the not-for-profit would have a mission that would be related to some type of a business overview, whether it's a for-profit or not-for-profit. For example, if it was a dance company, if we're talking about a not-for-profit on there, there are organizations that will support you in the development of a community dance company. And I think even the WBDC would probably be helpful in some respects in that area in terms of trying to get your revenue for programs and your donation cycles and things like that in line. But I think really reaching out to the industry groups in the areas in which the not-for-profits activities are aligned would probably be your best bet. And also the government, the state government, federal government, the SBA, they can tell you how to get the 501c3 designation, and because that's really a paperwork issue. It aligns with the mission and the vision, but it also is very much related to who is keeping the profits of this. So it's related to the accounting.
Thank you. Joanne, can you also answer for us any kind of special advice that you could give entrepreneurs offering coaching and consulting services?
Yes, I would be happy to. I think that entrepreneurs as a whole tend to be, especially starting out, tend to be very isolated. They work very hard at their business, and they tend to dedicate 100% of the time that's not devoted to their families or to the other things that they do in their lives, to their business, and don't pick their heads up sometimes to realize that there are a lot of activities happening that can help them in their quest to grow their business. So I think the best advice that I would give to someone that was starting or even established in the business is to make sure that you're involved at least in one or two industry groups outside of your business, which would maybe be, like I said, if you're in training and development, join the local chapter of ASTD, because you're going to be networking with other people, and that creates innovation in your industry. Secondly, what I would advise is to have somebody interact with people at a national organization, perhaps something like NABO, the National Association of Women Business Owners, because you are interacting then with like-minded individuals who can draw you out of your business. It's amazing sometimes what you can learn from other people that are not in your line of business. And that's one of the things that we concentrate on at the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses, is we mix people that are not necessarily in the same industry, because there are things to be learned from everyone. So the networking and the coaching, realize that there are coaching networks out there. Many of them are free, that will be willing to help you and work with you, but you need to make the first steps and reach out and remember that you're not alone.
Thank you so much. If there are no more questions, we will go ahead and thank our presenters today for taking their time. And if our audience could give these ladies a round of applause by clicking the picture at the top of the screen and select round of applause for our speakers, and let them know that we appreciate their valuable time and the information that they share with us today. We will see Meg and the WBDC at the Women's Business Owners Symposium on Friday, as well as Joanne will be featured at the Women's Business Owners Symposium on Friday as well. I will be there with my team, Chelsea and Lacey from Illinois WorkNet. We will also be side by side with a couple of other DCEO entities, and we look forward to seeing you on Friday. We have the links up and the PowerPoint for you to download, as well as the WBOS flyer. So thank you, Joanne, and thank you, Meg, and I will see you ladies on Friday. Thank you, audience, for taking the time to spend with us today. Everyone, have a great afternoon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.